Somebody did say it was a turkey leg. We're gonna say it's a bowling pin, though. You can, but I mean, like any piece of art, it's always open to interpretation. So let's assume a couple things about our physical pendulum. Let's assume first we are dealing with the physical pendulum. Let's say that it has a point of a pivot point, say right here, someplace near its top, not exactly at its top. And let's say that it has a center of mass here. The pivot point's going to hold it in place, but this distance from the pivot point to the center of mass, well, that's going to end up being our torque arm length. And let's call that x center of mass, since that's the symbol we've been using for center of mass. And assume that this has a moment of inertia of I and a mass of m. And take what we did yesterday and come up with the period of the physical pendulum. And again, we already demonstrated that something like this will oscillate. So the first thing you want to recognize is what's causing those oscillations. I hope that it wasn't too hard a stretch to realize that there is a unbalanced torque that's going to act on the object to try and cause it to go back towards the equilibrium position. So we assume equilibrium is here, and we have displaced the object an amount theta. There's a torque that's going to attempt to bring the object back towards equilibrium. And the size of that torque, it's got to have a torque arm length. I think we can all agree that's going to be the distance to the center of mass, times the applied force, which in this case is the weight of the object, and then the sine of the angle. And we're talking about the angle, we're talking about this angle, which has also got to be theta due to corresponding angles. So I'll say sine theta. Is this an unbalanced torque? Yeah. This is an unbalanced torque that's going to cause an acceleration. Now, if we say that the clockwise direction is the positive direction, then this torque is negative because it's causing the object to travel in the counterclockwise direction. Going ahead and replacing our alpha with our differential, and that's not expressly necessary. In AP Physics 1, I just tell them that solve it for alpha because they don't know anything about second order differential equations. I say it to you guys because you guys might be asked to create a second order differential equation as part of your test. But the point is you need to have an acceleration that is equal to a minus sign, a constant, and a displacement. So for us, the solution to this second order differential equation is really what we're going for. The problem is that this is not the correct simple second order differential equation that promotes simple harmonic motion, because we don't have our second order differential in terms of our original function. We have the sine of that function instead. So we do have to, at this point, do a little hand waving and say very clearly, I'm going to assume that these oscillations occur for thetas that's small. And that allows me to make a substitution, which will change this to the actual differential equation that we know is solved by a sine or a cosine function. Once we have that, this is the term we're interested in. Omega has to equal the square root of xcm mg over I. That's not exactly what I asked you to do. That's just a halfway point. I told you I want the period, which is 2 pi divided by omega, which is going to give you 2 pi times the square root of I over xcm mg. Now, this is the period of a physical pendulum. So anything that you can get to oscillate, probably figure out its oscillatory properties here. So let's try it. I don't have a bowling pin with some random center of mass, but I do have A meter stick would be considered a physical pendulum. Let's say for our argument that I am going to mount the meter stick with a pivot point at one end. What would be the period of oscillation of the meter stick? Meter stick has a mass of 70 grams and is a meter long. Where do you think the center of mass of a meter stick is? In its middle. All right. So I think you guys can tell me what the period is in seconds. I'll give you a few minutes. So period is 2 pi times the root of I. What are we going to use for I here? 1/3 ml squared. So 1/3 ml squared. And underneath that, what am I going to use for XCM? Well, I'm going to 0.5 L. I think it's worth putting everything in here first symbolically. And then I'll have mg. This shows me that the m's cancel out, so it really doesn't matter what the mass is here. And then I'm left with, I can cancel out one of the L's, but L's 1 anyways, so that's really not much of a stretch. So if you're having difficulty with this, boo-hoo. I would use 9.8 though. And this will give you 1.6 seconds. But again, look back to that omega. I want to keep reiterating this. The omega here was XCM mg over I. So every omega is going to be something about the restoring force on the top and something about inertia on the bottom. We have the simple pendulum. And it's harder with the simple pendulum to see the restoring force and the inertia. But now I think you can see that this was based on the inertia of a point mass. And this is based on the restoring force being gravity. And lastly, we have the spring mass oscillator, K over m, where the top is clearly our restoring force and the bottom is clearly the inertia. So, I am not. I did. Speaks directly to your character. Don't defend her. So, I want you to imagine I have like a platter and I connect a cable to the middle of the platter and affix the cable at the top. If I twist the platter some amount and pick any direction and let it go, if the cable I'm using to hold this in place has a tensile strength, it will attempt to turn back to its original strength. So a metal cable will provide a torque to counter the displacement. This is Hooke's law for torque. And it looks like this. It's a torque, and it equals minus kappa times delta theta. It's just Hooke's law for torque, but this object here would oscillate with a frequency that's related to this value kappa for our oscillator. It's not hard to recognize that for something like this, we're probably going to get something that looks a lot like an omega that's equal to the restoring torque divided by the inertia. I'll let you guys do that as your own proof, but you can do the same work we just did to show that you'll have oscillations related to that restoring torque.